Can a crystal help you receive your soul's dream? Find out in this story. Once there was a young woman who had a very fiery energy. Her parents always said that she was quick to temper. They didn't always understand that the fire that burnt deep inside of her had a purpose. So as she became older and would travel the beaches near where she lived, one day she stumbled across an old woman. The sun was beginning to set and the sky was ablaze with flames. The old woman beckoned the fiery young woman over to her. She could see the fire inside the young woman's soul. In her hands was a crystal. When she moved it and tapped it here and tapped it there seemed to be a fire burning deep, a bonfire burning deep within the crystal. The young woman's eyes lit up with passion. She had to hold that crystal. The old woman understood her hunger and handed the crystal over to her. The young woman held it, and tears began to flow down her face. And then the old woman began to rock and cluck and make sounds that were ancient old. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 ayo, ayo, ayo. The sounds were hypnotic. And the young fiery woman, holding the crystal, rocking back and forth with it, entered inside the crystal's world. She stepped into a fire and burst into flames. On the other side, her form had changed into that of a firebird. She stepped outside of the crystal and flew into the sky, filling the sky with reds and oranges and the fire of passion and the fire of compassion. In a moment, she was back beside the old woman, staring into the crystal with such a sense of wonder. The old woman smiled and clucked and motioned for the young woman to keep the crystal. She pushed it towards the young woman's heart. The fiery young woman didn't know what to do except to accept the gift. So she took it with her. She snuck back into her house, almost afraid to share her gift in case someone thought she stole it. She snuck into bed and placed the crystal near her pillow. That night, a very fiery beam from what seemed to be a star system from far away came to her in her dreams. Oh, she was very feline, very leonine, and she seemed to kind of prance and somersault and stare deep into the fiery young woman's eyes. She spoke not in words, but in sounds. Meow, meow. They were sounds unlike anything she'd ever heard. But when she awoke, she understood that the very nature, her very fiery nature, which seemed destructive sometimes to her family, actually had a place in the world. So the very next day, she took her crystal and she went to the center of her village. And there she called people to her, people who wanted dreams that were no longer serving them to be destroyed, and instead in their place to rebirth, like the phoenix being reborn out of the ash. Dreams that were aligned by their souls. The more that she worked with the crystal in her private time, and the more that she walked the beach with the crystal and went to sit with the old woman, the more she surrendered to her soul's dream for her. And that's how she was able to help others receive their soul's dream. And that's the end of the story. Sa Zhen.